This video covers the IGCSE Biology Objective 8.3.7 on the 2025 CAIE syllabus to explain wilting. Now you might say, yes, I already know what wilting is, but let's explain. Let's talk about the biology of what is happening when we have wilting in a plant. So just as a reminder, for those of us who don't know what wilting is, it is when water loss exceeds water uptake. So we know what water loss is. We know what water uptake is. Water loss happens in the stem and the leaves of the plant where water is transpiring or transpiration pull is happening, and water uptake happens in the roots of the plant. And so we have water evaporating from the leaf surface, but not enough water being absorbed from the soil to replace the water that has evaporated from the leaf surface. And when that happens, then the plant will wilt. So let's take a look at what happens at the cellular level, what's happening to make wilting occur. So we're going to go back and talk about some terms that we discussed very early on in our journey into biology. And that is talking about placid versus turgid plant cells. So in actuality, flaccid cells lead to wilting. So a turgid plant cell is going to create something called turgor pressure in all the cell walls of the plant, and they're all going to be pushing outward on each other. And because the cell wall is so rigid, it's actually going to make the plant stand upright. So obviously a plant that is full of water is going to have all of these turgid cells and therefore stand upright. However, when we have plant cells that do not have enough water in them, they're going to be flaccid. So they're not going to have turgor pressure, and therefore the plant will not be able to stand upright. So we've talked about this. The cell walls provide structure. Flaccid cells don't have enough water to push the cell walls outward, thereby not creating turgor pressure. And so since the cell walls are unable to provide this structure, the plant is going to wilt or bend over. It's not going to be standing upright the way we would expect it to do. And if it can't stand upright, then it cannot do maximum photosynthesis. And therefore, the plant itself could die because it's not having enough water and not making enough food for itself. So let's talk about what's called a permanent wilting point. Okay, so in this little diagram here, we've got a plant. It's absorbing water. Water is evaporating out due to the sunlight. Now, I'm sure you all know that if a plant has wilted and you put water in it, it can stand upright again. But there is a certain point where it will die, even if you try to put water into the plant. And this is called the permanent wilting point. At this point, the plant cannot recover, even if there's water available for uptake. So, because the cells no longer are flaccid, the cell membranes have pulled away from the cell walls of those plant cells, and then those cells have become plasmolized. All of these terms are terms that we've discussed previously in biology. And once a cell or many cells become plasmolized, they cannot recover because now the shape of the entire cell structure has been destroyed. And when that happens, the plant will die.